Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. And thank you for joining us on the Ministry of Information. This will be our second opportunity to engage the good people of Ghana through you, our colleagues in the media, through this edition of the Minister's press briefing. This morning, as advertised, we are joined by the Honorable Minister responsible for Lands and Natural Resources, who will speak to us about something very important that is going to happen within the Ghanaian Republic on the 11th of June. It's not just for the 11th of June, it starts from the 11th of June, but it is a project that is supposed to outlive that specific day and bring a lot of benefits to the environment and to the ecosystem. Now, often when you see us here, we are engaged in a battle, a fight against something. Today you see us in a battle for, a fight for a sustainable environment. And though somewhere down the battle against irresponsible and illegal mining, we will get back on a reclamation and a big exercise. Today is a different conversation. It's the Green Ghana project. Why that project? What do we hope to achieve with that project? What is the scope of the project? What is the expected outcome? That is what the Honorable Minister responsible for Lands and Natural Resources is here to speak to us about this morning. Before I invite him to the podium, I want to acknowledge a number of persons who are here with us. Mr. John Alote is the Chief Executive of the Forestry Commission. He's here with us. The former board chair of the National Communications Authority is in the building, so we invited him to join us, Mr. Kweku Sechiado. The Deputy Minister Designate for Lands and Natural Resources, the Honorable George Mekuduka MP for Takonsioem, is here with us. The Honorable Fatima Abubakar, Deputy Minister Designate for Information, is here with us. And as I mentioned earlier, the Minister responsible for Lands and Natural Resources, Member of Parliament for the people of Damongo, the Honorable Samuel Abujinapo, is here with us. Minister, please join me. Let's welcome him with a round of applause.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Colleague members of government, members of the press, let me begin first of all by thanking the Ministry of Information and this, as usual, exceptional Minister, the Honorable Kojo Oponkroma, for putting this press encounter together. Today, as the Minister for Information has already indicated, I'm here to, on behalf of government, give a briefing about the Green Ghana Day. And the Green Ghana Day and the project of Greening Ghana is a very important national undertaking which seeks to restore the forest cover of our country in the short to medium term. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it will surprise all of us. It's very startling to learn that as at 1900, the forest cover of Ghana stood at 8,200,000 hectares of forest cover. This forest cover is depleted by a whopping 80%. And today, as we speak, the forest cover of our country stands at just 1,600,000 hectares of forest cover. This is, to say the least, alarming. And therefore, the time for action is now. We've come to this point essentially through years of systematic degradation and forest degradation without the commensurate afforestation, aggressive afforestation. The experts will tell you that we have utilized our forest cover or our forest resources unsustainably. The issues of small-scale mining and depletion of our forest cover, the harvesting of our trees in a very unsustainable manner, it's brought us to this point. And it is therefore the reason why, in accordance with the vision of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the Green Ghana project was launched. And the Green Ghana project essentially is a well thought through project which is going to over a period of time, systematically implement policies, programs, and action plans which will result in the restoration of the forest cover of our country. That is the determination, that is the goal, that is the vision. As part of the Green Ghana project is the Green Ghana Day, which is June 11th. So the project is a bigger project. It's a bigger project which is going to take us about 4 to 5 years to implement fully. And by which time, it is our belief that the forest cover of our country would have been sufficiently restored. But part of it also is a Green Ghana Day, which is going to take place on June 11th. Why Green Ghana Day? The first reason for Green Ghana Day is that we want to bring about the needed consciousness. We want to awaken our country for all of us to understand and appreciate the need for tree planting. So that's the first goal. And I'm sure all of us will attest to the fact that the conversation in Ghana today, amongst others, includes the tree planting exercise which is going to take place on Friday. So that's the first thing. I mean, if you go to Israel, for instance, the Republic of Israel, we are told that they have built a society which revolves around tree planting, which revolves around afforestation, so much so that even when people go for picnic, the picnic is not complete until they plant a tree. And when you harvest one tree, you plant 2 or 3. So on a regular, sustainable basis, their forest cover is one that continues to be sustainable. They are able to harvest their forest resources, and yet they continue to plant. Ethiopia, sometime in 2019 or so, the Prime Minister of Ethiopia led 19 million Ethiopians to plant some 350 million trees in a day, we are told. And the culture of tree planting in Ethiopia is enhanced. This is exactly what we seek to do in Ghana. We want to build a level of consciousness in our country where tree planting becomes part and parcel of the Ghanaian people. 2, we want this undertaking to be national in character, and it should be collective action. It should be the responsibility of all of us, and by that I mean all of us: political parties, faith-based organizations, social clubs, educational institutions, media, ordinary citizens, residents in our country, corporate Ghana, diplomatic missions, all of Ghana, in terms of the funding, first of all, the logistical needs, and the manpower itself. So in many times in our country, most of the interventions are normally at the behest of government or at the behest of NGOs or at the behest of a certain constituency of our country or politicians. And so this one, the goal and the ambition we have is that it gets to a point where all of us in this country, everybody who lives in Ghana, residents, citizens, non-citizens, take it upon ourselves that it's our responsibility to make sure that we restore the forest cover of our country. The benefits of afforestation and the benefits of planting trees, those I believe we are all very familiar with. The matters of climate change, even the issues relating to economic growth in terms of planting economic trees and all of that we are very much familiar with them. So on June 11th, on Friday, what is going to happen? What we expect to happen on June 11th, first of all, is that we all should participate. The Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, through the Forestry Commission, has worked out an elaborate plan where, as much as possible, we will have seedlings dotted across the country. As we speak, the Forestry Commission, under the supervision of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, has worked out a program which has resulted in the production of some 6 million seedlings as we speak. The seedlings are going to be distributed to all Forestry Commission district offices, their regional offices, various malls across the country. The National Theatre in Accra will have seedlings, the ministries, and vantage points, the places where public places of our country, markets, and so on and so forth. And these seedlings are going to be available. And the expectation is that you walk to a point where you find a seedling, you pick the seedling, there will be guidelines as to how you plant the tree, and you plant the tree. When you plant the tree, we expect that you also take it upon yourself to nurture the tree until it gets to maturity. As part of the program is that we are seeking to work out a formula where the trees which will be planted will be economic trees. So we are talking about timber, we're talking about wawa, we're talking about neem, we're talking about rosewood, we're talking about shade trees. And these are, the rationale for this intervention is also so that in planting the trees, we are also making an investment for the future. The lifespan, the time it takes for timber, for instance, to mature, it's a long time. And now we do not have enough economic trees which can contribute to the national developmental agenda. And so part of it also is to ensure that we have economic trees. Now, we're going to also have a monitoring and evaluation team which will continue to monitor how well these trees do on a quarterly arrangement. And eventually, at the end of the year, on the first anniversary of the 2021 Green Ghana Day, we will take stock as to how we have fared. And there will be a comprehensive report delivered to the Ghanaian people. How many of the trees survived, for instance? How far have we gone? How many at what stage of development, and so on and so forth. So this is not going to be the usual thing where we plant the trees and we walk away. No. We plant the trees and we are going to nurse them, we are going to nurture them, and we are going to monitor in a very scientific way and in a very methodical way to ensure that we see to the progress of these trees. So basically, on that day, we are asking Ghanaians to come out in their numbers to support the exercise. Where can you plant a tree? You can plant a tree anywhere, literally. But the Forestry Commission is designated planting sites, degraded lands, where you can go and plant trees at. By the roadside, by 100 meters away from the road. At your residence, you can plant a tree. School compounds, you can plant a tree. Community centers, open spaces in your towns, villages, and cities. You can plant trees there. So that is very important. I must also report that in collaboration with the Ministry of Education and the Ghana Education Service, we launched a week or so ago the One Student, One Tree initiative. And on June 11th, the estimation we have so far is that some 1.2 million Ghanaian students from primary to senior high school are going to be engaged in tree planting. As I said earlier, the biggest benefit we'll derive from it as a country will be the inculcation of the habit or the culture of tree planting in our kids. They will own the trees, they will have a sense of ownership, they will be responsible for the trees, and a year from today, when we take stock and when we begin to report on how well the trees have done, they themselves, I believe, will feel proud that they were part of the Green Ghana Day and that on that day they planted trees. So that is part of the Green Ghana Day agenda, which is the One Student, One Tree initiative. Let me also point out that we are very grateful to several institutions and organizations who have so far contributed significantly to the preparation towards June 11th and who have made commitment to support the efforts of government through the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources to plant at least, and the at least is emphasized, at least 5 million trees on the day. From the projections vis-a-vis what the Forestry Commission has already done in terms of the production of seedlings, and from the commitments we've received from across the country, I am very confident that on June 11th, we certainly will plant more than 5 million trees. For instance, the Church of Pentecost, the Church of Pentecost is committed to plant 1 million trees on that day. The Presbyterian Church of Ghana is committed to plant 1 million trees on that day. The Apostolic Church of Ghana is committed to plant 500,000 trees on that day. And as I said earlier, primary and secondary schools are going to plant 1,290,607 seedlings on that day. The Volta River Authority is committed to plant 245,000 trees on that day. And the Form Ghana Limited is committed to plant 136,219 trees on the day. My own church, the Catholic Church of Ghana, we're also going to plant 1 million trees on that day. Now, there is a window of opportunity for organizations and institutions to come forward, to step forward, to make their commitment as to the number of trees they will plant. And Honorable Minister for Information, if you indulge me, I should say that there cannot be any better corporate social responsibility than planting trees, than supporting this exercise. This is very much about the survival of our country. So all the conglomerates and the big businesses in our country and the corporations in our country, the Ghanaian people and the good people of Ghana are looking up to you. They are looking up to all the businesses of our country, the corporate institutions, the NGOs, faith-based organizations, and citizens in general to step forward to support this noble and godly endeavor. A good number of institutions have also stepped forward to make cash contributions. I know, for instance, that some banks have come forward and they've made some financial contributions. Our doors are still open, and we expect that various organizations will make it a point to contribute to the Green Ghana Day Fund, which is at the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, to make the day a success. On Friday, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, at 1 p.m. at Jubilee House, at the lawn of Jubilee House, will plant the commemorative tree. The commemorative tree which will signify or symbolize that the Ghanaian people planted at least 5 million trees on June 11, the Green Ghana Day, will be undertaken by President Akufo-Addo. The Vice President will follow suit to plant a tree on that very day. The Speaker of Parliament will lead Parliament on June 11th to plant a tree at Parliament House. Members of Parliament are lacing their boots to lead their constituencies in all 275 constituencies to plant trees on that day. The Chief Justice, my Lord the Chief Justice, has been gracious enough to accept the request of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources to lead the judiciary to plant a tree at the Supreme Court, at the premises of the Supreme Court. His Majesty the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei II will lead Asanteman at the golf course of Kumasi to plant a tree. His Majesty the Yana will lead the chiefs of Northern Ghana and the chiefs and people of Northern Ghana to plant a tree in Yendi. The Ochenhene, His Majesty Osagyefo Amotie of Ropeni Ochenhene will plant a tree in Chebi. The Chief Imam will plant a tree on that day. And indeed, I should say, other high-ranking, the President of the National House of Chiefs, Ojia Oho, His Majesty Ojia Oho, will plant a tree. He will lead the National House of Chiefs to plant a tree. And other high-ranking officials of our country will plant trees. But even more importantly, ladies and gentlemen, members of the press, is that the Ghanaian people are expected, and we are very hopeful and optimistic, that on this day, we'll all spare an hour or two to step forward and step out to plant trees across the country. And indeed, the catchphrase and the slogan is that plant a tree, take a picture of it, and post it. I will do the same, and I'll post mine on my Facebook page. I expect that you do the same. I have a list here of those who've contributed so far to the 5 million Green Ghana projects. The chairman of the committee is insisting that I read all of it out because he wants to acknowledge them and also hopefully have some more inflows. Richie Plantation Limited is contributed 50,000. The Minerals Development Fund is contributed 100,000. The Minerals Commission 100,000 Ghana cedis. Salt and Light Ministries have contributed 50,000 Ghana cedis. The ministry itself is contributed 100,000. Lands Commission 100,000. Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority 20,000. Bui Power Authority 20,000. Green Cycle E 20,000. Reverend Dr. Joyce R.I. 20,000. National Petroleum Authority 200,000. Namibia Embassy High Commissioner 1,000 Ghana cedis. Emirates Airline 3,000 Ghana cedis. Guinea Embassy 100 US dollars. There's an unknown 100,000. And West Africa West Africa Quarries Limited, 200,000. Petroleum Commission, 100,000. So these are the contributions so far, and that totals to about 1.1 million Ghana cedis. So the preparation and the organization of this day is gone far, is far advanced, and we at the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, we are very confident that we've put ourselves in readiness for this big day, this historic day. Without doubt, this is going to be a very ambitious exercise, and it is going to be a major undertaking. But we've been working day and night for the past 3 or so months, preparing for this big day. I've been reliably informed that the international media is even found this very attractive and are beginning to comment on this. We should make it a big success. And God willing, next year, June 11th, 2022, on Green Ghana Day next year, we hope to plant 20 million trees. And in 2023, on Green Ghana Day, we hope to plant 50 million trees. And God willing, in 2024, on the 4th anniversary of Green Ghana, we hope to plant 100 million trees. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to give you the breakdown of the regional distributions of seedlings. Ahafo, we've distributed 170,000 seedlings. Ashanti is received 1 million. Bono is received 250,000. Bono East, 300,000. Central Region, 400,000. Eastern Region, 750,000. Greater Accra Region, 450,000. Oti, 150,000. Northern, 250,000. Northeast, 120,000. Savannah, 250,000. Upper East, 170,000 seedlings. Upper West, 150,000 seedlings. Volta Region, 200,000 seedlings. Western, 250,000. Western North, 420,000. Totaling 5,280,000 seedlings have been distributed as we speak. So, distinguished members of the press, I must thank you for your attention and conclude my initial remarks by calling on Ghanaians, all and sundry, residents of Ghana, to come out in their numbers on Friday, June 11th, for us to plant at least 5 million trees to restore the forest cover of our country. And not just plant them, but nurture and nurse them to maturity. Let's go planting 5 million trees. Greening Ghana. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister responsible for lands and natural resources, and I would ask you to stay at the podium. Colleagues, this is a kind of brief that you usually don't get a lot of questions, but I am actually hopeful that there may be a few issues that you want clarification on. So, the microphone is available. Just give me a wave where you are, and we will be happy to take your questions. As always, we are still biased towards the ladies, so if a lady puts up her hand, we'll skip all the men and go to the ladies first. In the absence of, there's a lady here. So, gentlemen, you have to hold on. There are 2 ladies. So let me take the ladies and I'll come to this positive discrimination. Yes, madam.
Good afternoon. My name is Bernice Abubeidu-Lansa. I work with Joy News. My question is about how you're hoping to protect the remaining 1 million hectares as we embark on this project. Because you've mentioned that we are going to be planting mostly economic trees, which take a while. So what are you going to do to preserve what is already existing so that you're not counter working? And the other thing is, in an earlier report I saw online when this project was launched, we mentioned that we were going to use this to help address the impact of illegal mining. I just want to find out if we will need, especially with regards to lands that have been devastated by illegal mining, whether we'll need to do extra work on those lands or we'll just go ahead to plant the trees, and will that work for us? Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There was a lady in yellow. The back? Yes, madam, let me hear from you.
My name is Nancy Vokania and I work with TV3. In 2019, we interviewed a gentleman from the Green Republic. It's an NGO. And he first mentioned a National Tree Planting Day. after doing some work with the late Sir John, providing seedlings and other things.
Now see if you can speak up so that we can hear you better.
Our sources say that the Green Republic presented a document and a roadmap for the National Tree Planting Day to the presidency. So we'd like to know if that initial engagement is part of why this is happening. We want to know if our government is listening to our youth when they bring up some of these ideas. Yes.
Thank you. There was a gentleman who had a hand up here, and then I'll come down this way. Did you have your hand up? No, you didn't. Okay, so let me take the two here. Let me take the two gentlemen here. Did you have your hand up? Yes, so please. And then I'll come to the two of you here. Yeah.
My first question is, what went into the decisions in terms of the distribution of the seedlings to the regions, especially looking at the factors involved that you looked at? And secondly, if there is any update on the fourth phase of Operation HALT. Yes, because we've been visiting some of the sites, the river bodies.
But you're done with your questions?
Yes, some of the communities, the water bodies are still bad.
Okay. Well, thank you. You would recall that I think last week or so, the Minister for Defense was here to give the updates on the fourth phase of Operation HALT. When we come back with another update on that one, we'll deal with it. Today we're talking Green Ghana. Yes, sir. Two.
My name is John Awuni. I represent Kesben. I just wanted to know, on the June 11th, after the planting, a year later or a year after the planting, what measures we put in place to make sure that the 5 million trees that we planted will survive the Herculean task of the weather, and possibly if watering and other things is not taken into consideration, how are the trees going to survive? Okay.
GNA. You usually have like 5 questions. Today, no more than 2. We beg of you.
Thank you. I wanted to also add up to what the lady said, that because we learned the soil has been polluted by mercury, cyanide because of the illegal activities. So we wanted to find out whether there was any measures to get rid of those substances that could affect the growth of these trees, if government would do something about it, so that we will not get them dying early. Then my second question is, I want to add up to what the lady said concerning the Green Republic project. And this gentleman has been advocating for this national tree planting for over 10 years, has been doing it and planted over 16,000 trees across the country, funded by him. And so we at least wanted him to be part of the planning committee of this Green Ghana, but I learned he is not even part. So we wanted to find out if government will assign him a specific role to play to bring his experience to bear.
So does government have any plans to onboard persons
to bring
who are already in the area?
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure.
Let me get reactions.
The costs
let me get
of
reactions.
This project,
I have to cut
costs.
it down, and then let me go to reactions. Minister.
Yes, sir. So thank you very much. Thank you. The lady from Joy News wants to know what the measures we're going to put in place to deal with the existing forest cover of our country. Multiple interventions will be made. The first one, the fight we are waging on illegal small-scale mining in itself is an intervention which will help in terms of the forest cover of our country. I'm sure you are familiar with the new arrangements we've put in place, which says that they can no longer be mining in forest reserves of our country. That's protecting the forest reserves of our country. The exercise of the minister's discretion in the grant of concessions for purposes of harvesting trees in the forest reserves and so on and so forth. That is a discretion that I have to exercise and exercise carefully. Because as I said earlier in my remarks, the sustainable utilization of the forest resource of our country must be a key ingredient when the minister is exercising his discretion as to how he grants concession for timber merchants to go and harvest wood and so on and so on. So that's the second one. And the third one, generally, is the enforcement mechanism by the Forestry Commission itself. And I'm very confident in the Chief Executive Officer of the Forestry Commission, very capable man, and I know that he's put in place an array of measures to ensure that the forest cover of our country is protected and that we continue to police and safeguard what we have now. The issue of the degraded or mined out lands, there's a program the ministry is working out which will be dubbed the National Reclamation Program. We've gone far with it. It's a matter that we have a whole technical committee chaired by a Deputy Minister Duka in my ministry, which is being worked on assiduously, and they've gone very far with it, where we're going to roll out like the Green Ghana thing that we've just been discussing here, a whole program which will ensure that we reclaim degraded lands. But this Green Ghana Day, we are not going to plant trees at degraded lands. We are not going to plant trees at places where the soil has already been polluted. The Forestry Commission is used very expert and scientific means in determining where we should plant the trees. They are very clear in their minds that where these trees are going to be planted, the trees will survive. The formula for distribution, the matters to do with, for instance, where you have land banks, first of all, where you have a place where you can plant a lot of trees, the places where we have a lot more deforestation. If you take, for instance, the northern part of our country, you can be rest assured that there the issues of deforestation and the depletion of our forest cover is more alarming. And so they've taken all of that into account, and they've come out with a very expert determination as to which region needs how many number of trees. There's also the question about a young man who has been waging a crusade about how we should all be involved in planting trees, and I'm told that he's even gone ahead to plant 16,000 trees. Why not? If I get the details of this young man, I'll be very happy to speak to him, and whatever collaboration we can engage in with the person, we'll be very happy to do that. I mean, I learned on Facebook yesterday that a lady from Nkranza, an elderly woman from Nkranza, on her own, has already planted 500 trees or so. I got the officials of my ministry to reach out to her, and I'm scheduled to have a meeting or a discussion on the phone with her to find out how we can support her. So as I said from the very beginning, we really want Ghanaians to own this enterprise, because that's the only way it can be sustainable. And we are happy to collaborate with anybody who is determined to work with us. Operation Hall, the minister is responding to it, but just so that I make a comment, the matter of small-scale mining and illegal small-scale mining, it cannot be an event. It's not possible. It's a process. We can't resolve illegal small-scale mining in our country overnight. Respectfully, I should submit and do so forcefully. If you understand that industry and the complexity of the industry, you will appreciate that it will require some time, it will require sustained effort. And what is refreshing, in my view, is that there is absolute commitment and will to resolve the matter of illegal small-scale mining in our country. Thank you.
I think GNA had a few questions, but one of them was included earlier in fact, both of them. So you've dealt with both of them. I'll take a final batch of questions. Nana, you have your hand up. Kojo, you have your hand up. We are not accustomed to shouting questions across. Just raise your hand. I'll send the microphone to you. Okay? So Nana is here. Kojo is there. Is there anybody else? GNA, I'll come back to you. So that will be our final three. Yes, sir. Nana, let's start with you.
Yes, sir. Honorable Minister, you did indicate that you are going to plant only economic trees. But yesterday...
Not only. As much as possible. Not only. We'll plant other trees as well.
Okay, then let me drop that question.
Yeah.
And we are aware that the former CEO, the deceased Sir John, embarked on youth in rural afforestation, and they have done a lot of work. Are you going to incorporate it into this exercise? Or they are going to be one here, the other one there? Because I want to know the collaboration with that program.
The youth in afforestation?
Yes. Are you going to incorporate it into it, or you are going to do a different thing altogether? And then my second question, small-scale mining, some are ongoing still, and you are saying that those places that have been depleted, they're not going to take into account. What of the places that have not been depleted? People are going to mine there, the new areas, the virgin areas that they're going to mine. How are you going to monitor? Because this book can do anything, because once they want the gold, they can just uproot any tree and tree it. So if you plant new trees at virgin areas that have not yet gone there, how are you going to monitor and make sure that they do not destroy those trees?
Thank you. There was another hand at the back. Yes, Kojo? Not more than two, and then we'll wrap up.
Okay, so last 3 weeks, Honorable Lands and Natural Resource Minister said that he's going to table before Cabinet some reforms or legal reviews in terms of the sanction regime for those who breach the mining laws. Any updates on that? Have you tabled before Cabinet the reviews in terms of strengthening the legal regime? And then secondly, let me just read it out straight. A major challenge to keeping our forests is illegal felling of trees and galamsey activities. We've been taking steps to address these things, but then the major thing that we need to do, we constantly hear of rosewood trade increasing and how it is increasing. What are we doing to ensure that this tree we are planting don't fall victim to these activities of illegal felling? Once we are saying that we're going to prioritize economic trees.
So the protection mechanisms come up.
Yes,
again.
please.
All right, Gianni, your final question, one, and then we'll wrap up.
I'm concerned about the cost of this project. Since the minister said this is a short to medium term project, and so by the next 4 years, this project is going to be sustained. I want to find out how much government has projected to spend on this project, apart from what donors will bring. What government has budgeted for this project? Thank you.
Thank you. Minister.
Thank you very much. So, Kojo, let me just try and answer your question. Today is Green Ghana Day. Respectfully, Honorable Minister, I will indulge my good friend Kojo not to permit me not to get into the matters of galamsey. So I believe, like the minister said, we'll have another opportunity to discuss galamsey, and I'll answer all the questions relating to galamsey. Nana is asking about youth in afforestation. They are very central to whatever we are doing. The Youth and Afforestation Program is a government intervention which seeks to employ young people to be involved in afforestation schemes. So they are very central in the work we do. I do know that they've had concerns about the delay in their payment, but I've just been informed and that efforts have been made, and as we speak, some payments have been effected, and we are working with the Ministry of Finance to ensure that all of their outstandings will be paid to them. But without doubt, they are absolutely integral when it comes to the Green Ghana Day and the efforts that we are making. The protection of the forest reserves and the trees we plant. Always remember one thing. The core mandate of the Forestry Commission is to protect the forest reserves of our country. That's their core mandate. So in addition to the afforestation schemes we have, and in addition to the greening efforts that we are embarking upon, part of their mandate, and in fact central to the existence of the Forestry Commission, is the protection of the forest reserves of our country. They have forest guards and they have all kinds of tools which are to be deployed for the protection of the forest reserves of our country. So the Forestry Commission, as I say, have an elaborate program to ensure that these trees, when planted, will be protected, will be nurtured, will be nursed, and as I've indicated to you, there will be an element of accountability in this whole thing. Next year, we're not going to put Ghanaians out into the field to go and plant trees, only for us to go to bed. And then a year after, it will become efforts. The effort that would have made will not amount to much. So we're going to report to the Ghanaian people at the end of on a quarterly basis, and on the anniversary of Green Ghana Day, before we call on them again to plant some more trees come 2022, God willing. We should tell them how well we've done with the exercise they were involved in. So that is a key component of the whole arrangement we have. The issue of how much we are going to spend. The chairman of the committee is here, and he's still struggling for money, actually. So it's still an exercise that we are embarking on, and I believe that if there's a need for us to account, we will do so. But do contribute, and why not? Yourself, come and make some contribution. We'll be very happy to receive your contributions. So, Honourable Minister, I think these are the questions and these are the answers that I can give for now. But just to conclude by submitting and doing so very forcefully that this is going to be a big day for our country. This is the most ambitious single intervention in terms of afforestation in the history of our country. We've never had an occasion where we are going to have to plant these number of trees before. And so this is a Ghana project. This is a project for all of Ghana. And I should say that there are a good number of people from across the political divide, from across the spectrum of our country, who have been very cooperative and who have been very supportive, and we are very grateful for that. Let us all get out on this day and let us make a big statement that the Ghanaian people and the people who live in this country are determined to preserve our country and ensure the survival of our country, as well as also the survival of our globe, of our world. And we all know the issues of climate change and the warming of our planet, and the need for us to act with urgency. The seedlings are going to be free, so anybody who comes to sell a seedling to you, please take note that government is worked out a scheme where we're going to take the full cost of the seedlings, so nobody should sell a seedling to anybody. On June 11th, Green Ghana Day, let's go planting 5 million trees. Let's green Ghana. Thank you very much.
Honorable Minister, thank you for your presentation, straight to the point and very lucid. That outlines what we are seeking to achieve with this Green Ghana project, starting off with Green Ghana Day on June the 11th. Shortly, I'll play back on the screen the President's endorsement of this particular activity. But as you resume your seat, I just want to highlight a few things that you've mentioned. A number of trees, including economic trees. You've also spoken about the One Student, One Tree initiative to support this. The big date, it starts off on June 11th. It's not a one-day affair, but it starts off on the 11th of June. And Honorable Minister speaks of an all-of-society approach, everybody involved, not just us sitting down and watching some people plant trees, but all of us involved. He talks about a collaboration with other organizations and institutions, listed a number of them and the numbers that they are committing to. We want to encourage you to possibly talk to your media managers. Your organization can also participate and join us. Maybe some 60 trees or 50 trees, 100 trees here. It's not just about, talking about it, but it's also practicing what we preach. So we want to encourage you, our colleagues, that your organizations can also join us. And then the Honorable Minister spoke about the commemorative tree that will be planted by His Excellency the President, and it will be supported by a number of other persons across the country, the Chief Justice, the Speaker of Parliament, a number of traditional rulers. Honorable Minister, I think you left one out. Obrimpong Dubi Inti. The Ofonse Mahini will also be planting a tree in the Ofonse Ayerbi constituency. I think you left that one out. So, colleagues, let's play that clip, and we'll say thank you to all of you for being with us this morning. I want to say thank you to the Honorable Fatih Abubakar. I want to say thank you to the the Chief Executive of the Forestry Commission, who is here with us. I want to say thank you to the Honorable George Mekuduka, Deputy Minister Designate. The Honorable Benito Usubio, he was running around fetching some more seedlings, so he joined us. And then the Honorable Minister Samuel Abujinapo as well. Thank you all for being with us.
June has been dead.
Green Ghana Day.
Fellow Ghanaians, Friday, 11th June has been designated as Green Ghana Day. I will, as President of the Republic and as co-chair of the eminent group of advocates of the 2030 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, lead the effort in planting 5 million trees on that day. We cannot sit by and watch as our trees, flora and fauna are wiped out. Our very existence is tied directly to the survival of trees. Without the oxygen that is produced by trees, we cannot survive as humans. So on Friday, 11th June, the tree planting exercise will ensure that we're not only sowing seeds just for one day, but also for generations to come. I urge all Ghanaians to join this clarion call and help preserve our environment. After planting the 5 million trees, let us help nurture them and make sure that they survive. Lend your support to the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources as it executes this ambitious national assignment. On Friday, 11th June, I, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, will plant a tree, and I